Hello, my name is Derek Willingham, a labor relations specialist with the Field Services and Education Department at AFGE. In this video training, we will discuss impact and implementation bargaining. What is impact and implementation bargaining? When the agency is not required to bargain with the union over the substance of a proposal or has already bargained over the substance of the proposal, they still must negotiate over the procedures and appropriate arrangements flowing from a change in terms of employment. If the parties have already bargained a change to the terms and conditions of employment, or the change is not bargainable because of non-negotiability, waiver, or emergency, the agency still must bargain before implementing changes in conditions of employment of unit employees, as long as the change is greater than de minimis, meaning too small to affect employees. In most situations, the agency is required to maintain status quo conditions regarding the proposed change while the parties engage in impact and implementation I&I bargaining. Impact and implementation bargaining applies to changes of policy, including personnel policies, practices, and matters even when established by rule, regulation, or otherwise affecting working conditions, to changes with a negative, positive impact on terms and conditions of employment. The changes is an exercise of management's rights, new management guidance, and a change in conditions issuing from a settlement agreement. In I&I bargaining, we bargain over the procedures and appropriate arrangements that management will abide by when enacting the change in question. These procedures and appropriate arrangements are fully negotiable. Under 5 U.S.C. 7106B, the agency is obliged to bargain procedures for exercising its authority, appropriate arrangements for employees adversely affected by the exercise management's authority. Procedures mean the procedures which management officials will observe in exercising any management right. In other words, how they may be implemented, but not changing the right itself. A negotiable procedure is one that does not directly interfere with management's right. In general, management's rights determine what management can do, while the procedures describe how management will implement these actions. Appropriate arrangements means the arrangements for employees adversely affected by the exercise of any management's rights. An appropriate arrangement must meet 2 threshold conditions. First, there must be a reasonable foreseeable adverse effect flowing from a management action that has been identified. Second, the arrangement proposed must be tailored to benefit or compensate employees suffering or reasonably expected to suffer the adverse effect. The agency is normally required to maintain the status quo during the bargaining process, but may not be required to if the union has not timely requested bargaining or timely requested impasse, or if the implementation is consistent with the necessary functioning of the agency, or if all the union proposals regarding the change are found to be non-negotiable. Remember, impact and implementation bargaining is appropriate in nearly every case when we cannot engage in substantive bargaining. Just because an issue is precluded as management's right or is legitimately non-negotiable for another reason, we almost always maintain the right to bargain over the procedures and appropriate arrangements.